Russian President Vladimir Putin's live phone-in broadcast is all about the audience. But this year there were plenty of messages for those outside the country too. And one big one for US President Donald Trump.
Диалог всегда хорош.
Dialogue is always good, there's always demand for it. Sure, if the US side shows an interest towards it, we are ready for dialogue, as far as our US partners are ready for it. We have things to talk about regarding international security, I mean disarmament. The Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty is expiring soon, but I also mean establishing normal relations between the countries.
Putin's comments raise the chances he and Trump will meet in Japan at the G20 next week. But Putin took a tough stand on the subject of US and Iran, saying a conflict must be avoided.
Хочу сразу сказать, это было бы катастрофой.
I will say that it would be a catastrophe for the region at least. It would lead to an influx of violence and possibly to an increased flow of refugees.
It's a sensitive time in East-West relations. 3 Russians are facing murder charges in the shooting down of Malaysia Airlines flight MH17, killing all 298 people aboard in 2014. After the broadcast speaking to journalists, Putin denied that Russia was involved. Nevertheless, one analyst says Putin is trying to show he is peace-loving.
I think savvy, wise, not confrontational, and well-wishing. He wanted to come across as sounding conciliatory and peace-loving, blaming the hostility, the animosity on the other side, on the West.
Critics of his phone-in say it is a stage-managed event, with any criticism of Putin filtered out. It did, though, reveal how he thinks he can improve Russia's place in the world. But turning that into reality might be his hardest call of all. President Putin says he wants to meet with President Trump and to repair relations with the West. But on the biggest issues, Iran, Venezuela, MH17, Russia and the US are still at odds. So though a meeting between President Trump and President Putin just got a step closer, on the world's biggest problems, they are still gulfs apart. Dan Ashby, CGTN, Moscow.